Opponent also went to 6. Man, do you remember Magic before the scry roll? That was so much worse. Sometimes Magic Online's a giver and gives them to you real quick. I mean, it's not fully a freeze, Nivik. Maybe it was bad. Maybe I shouldn't have called it a freeze. Maybe I should have called it a temporary price increase. Because that's basically what it is. It's a temporary price increase. MTGO is basically playing without... You're not wrong. You're not wrong. This Boros Charm could actually blow our opponent out here very potentially. So one of the hidden modes on here is make all your permanents indestructible, which also reads counter target Wrath, which is great for us. So if they don't have a path to exile here and they're hoping to lean into a sweeper here, we could potentially run them out of the game. So here's the question. Since they spreading sees me, I can't go Soul's Attendant and hold up Boros Charm. I think I'm just supposed to leave myself a little hosed by Charm here. I need to pressure my opponent. Yeah, they could also be a Terminus deck, which is another reason just like jam, right? Okay, them blocking here is a good sign for us. This means that they probably don't have a sweeper. Probably because those decks aren't very good. I'm addicted to the memes. That's pretty good. So I can chalk this in. Let's kill this. We'll go Pridemate into Norin here. I'm really glad they played that crappy card instead of a good card. Let's get some auto yields in here because these triggers are about to get off the chain. About to get a little crazy. It's about to get a little crazy, chat. Been wondering for a while, what's your other interest for an undergrad? Did you have any favorite electives, major or minor, that you didn't expect? Nah, it was pretty straightforward. I had a computer major, and I had an education minor, because I taught for a little while. I did student teaching at a high school for a semester during undergrad as well. But mostly just games. I played a lot more actual video games during college. Played some Guild Wars, the original one, played some Counter-Strike. That's a Dragon Lord Ojitai. Yeah, I'm glad our Pridemate is huge, I guess. Well, we're in a good spot until we get path to exiled. My cat is here and it is very angry. Nah, I never played Civilization. We played some StarCraft 2. We played some OG StarCraft. We played a lot of Diablo 2. What else did we play? We played some Command and Conquer. Played a bunch of Command and Conquer. Gosh, hopefully they find like a Supreme Verdict here and we get to Boros Charm it and then untap and kill them. Well, if you're not in Discord, you should be in Discord. I ping people in Discord too when we go live. And my server has it so I'm the only one, myself and my wife are the only ones that can tag everyone on my server, so it's okay to not turn off. It's okay to leave on everyone tags because they only happen when I go live for the most part. Well, I mean, like, they eventually sweep our board so we stop getting health, and then they get, like, grind us out with a Jace or a Teferi. Like, Jace and Teferi can both deck us. Yep. It's unfortunate. We're hoping for a sweeper there. We're gonna have a really hard time playing through that. Saturday's meta report. What is that? And it's almost certainly not accurate. Where is it getting information from? Purphoros would be absurd. I guess I can play that out since I have a Boros Charm to protect from a sweeper anyways. The Boros Charm can also just like jump up and kill them, which would be nice. I hate how you have to always yes to every individual one. Like you have multiple copies of a thing. Good old purple horse. Don't make fun of my horse. My horse is amazing. This is all the health we gain. Doo-da, doo-da. Lots and lots of health to gain. Oh, the doo-da day. Do 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 do. Yeah, but you could just not auto, like, do you ever, like, auto yesing to Aether Vial is also just silly in general, so, like, I don't think that's really a good argument. Yeah, no Tremors is interesting. I feel like we're gonna have a little bit of a hard time closing here. We do have 2 copies of Purphoros. Yeah, but auto yesing in general, like, isn't a good thing, because, like, you're gonna turn off auto yes eventually. So, like, burn at the stake seems stupid. Sorry, let's be more specific. Burn at the stake seems unnecessary. It seems like a card that's really expensive to cast, and it seems much worse than something like Impact Tremors, which is gonna give you a similar effect. I'm gonna plug this a couple times throughout the day. We have a couple people in here already. For people who are regulars on the stream, I'm temporarily increasing the cost of the donation queue decks to try and get a handle on how many decks are in the queue. That's really good. Yeah, I feel like we can't win the game at this point. I would be very surprised if Wizards of the Coast allowed me to be a part of one of their super leagues. Again, I assume there is a reason I've never been asked. They've done them for a long time. They've done them for a while, and I've been here a while, so... We actually don't really have good cards to board in here, huh? Like, I guess I'm leaving in these bolts as reach. I'm like, a Path to Exile. I guess the paths are okay, because they're on Dragon Lord. I guess I'll favor leaving in Path because it kills Colonnade and Dragon Lord. Yeah, I guess that's fine. If they were like a blue-white control deck without creatures, though, I definitely wouldn't be. I definitely would have too few cards to bring in. Silumgar scored. I assume they're just on 1 or 2 Ojutai to close the game. Killing people in Modern is really, really good. So, the big problem with decks like this is, while they're really good when everything comes together, synergy decks like this in general in Modern tend to be a little bit on the weak side. You tend to want to play individually powerful cards in Modern as opposed to cards that are trying to synergize with each other, because basically decks in Modern tend to fall into one of 2 categories. They either tend to fall into the category of linear decks that are trying to kill you very quickly, or they're decks like Green, Black, and Jeskai that are going to pick, or Blue-White Control, that are going to pick apart your individual pieces and leave you with a bunch of fairly embarrassing cards. So I think decks like this kind of struggle to put together like closing power. Yeah, this deck falls into like this semi-combo / synergy range where like even when everything comes together, it doesn't instantly kill its opponent. Do you think that Burn counts as a good stuff deck? No, I'd count Burn as a linear deck that's trying to kill you. In my experience, the decks you play against in friendly and competitive leagues in Modern are almost identical. I don't know if that holds true for Standard, but in Modern it's definitely the case. People overboard Rest in Peace against blue-white control decks. Unless your deck is absurdly bad and like has to try and... I don't even know then. Like, every time my opponent has boarded in a Rest in Peace against my blue-white deck, I've just kind of shrugged and been like, wow, if that had been a card that did something, maybe you'd win this game. Howdy, Captain. Morning. I feel like I would understand if people don't want to classify Burn as strictly a combo deck, because I think depending on like what your definition of combo is, Burn may or may not be a combo deck. But I think Burn is certainly a linear deck, right? Like, while it can interact with your creatures, its goal isn't to interact with its creatures. Its goal is to send all of its spells to your face. Yeah, Rip's very good against Mardu. You are not wrong. I did not miss a damage. I wanted to play Genesis Chamber post-combat in case my opponent played a removal spell here. Sneaking this in through counter magic is very, very valuable. This card is harder to take off the table. I think trying to play Mutavaults in a 3-color mana base is bad. I think Grixis doesn't have a way to consistently gain health, so you can't really play Bitter Blossom in a 3-color mana base consistently in Modern. I'm like, I know we're missing land drops here, but like I think this is a good example. Like, someone asked like what holds these decks back. Like, again, like here, like we're kind of doing our thing, but they're picking apart our pieces one at a time here. Like, maybe if they tap out again next turn and we draw land to stick this Purphoros, the Purphoros could maybe steal it. Well, Mardu Pyromancer is a Blood Moon deck by and large, so like the matches you'd want a creature land against, you just want to Blood Moon them more. I think the burn deck with 4 Shrine of Burning Rage is just built poorly. It seems absurd to not play Eidolon in your burn deck. Thanks, Garg. Glad you're here. Alright, Wrath me, baby. Are they dead? They're almost dead? They're pretty close to dead, right? This is 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're going to 1 here. They don't have a path. Yeah, I want to put my opponent dead to a burn spell or 1 Purphoros trigger. So this puts them to 1, which also cuts off their fetch lands. It also, like, makes my opponent need to have removal. Like, when you're playing decks like this that play to the board against these control decks, you often have to ask yourself, can this hand afford to beat a sweeper? And a lot of times the answer to that question is no, and you're just supposed to play your cards out and hope they don't have the sweeper. I am done streaming Hearthstone and making Hearthstone content on stream. Yep. I play it on my tablet mostly, and that was why I picked it up. Like, I wanted something that I could play while I sit on the couch or on the treadmill at the gym. The content for Hearthstone just like isn't popular enough to warrant spending time making it. It's a good draw. No, the content just doesn't make any money, so I can't really consider it content. Like streaming Hearthstone when I could be streaming Magic is like me dicking around on the internet when I could be working, basically. So I've relegated Hearthstone to my dicking around time instead of my I could be working time. Dicking around the internet. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't. This job has many perks, but being able to do other stuff while I work is not one of them. Alright, they're at 6 here, so if they don't have more detention spheres, they could close the game here pretty quickly. They have Gideon, they have this Knight token, they're 1 land away from activating this colony. If they have like a Dragon Lord Ojutai here, we could be in a lot of trouble. We're probably going to concede to a Teferi or a detention sphere here, though. Nope. Absolutely nothing to do with it, Dan. You should, in fact, I thought about that too, Dan, and if you go do some research and like look at the number of people who are streaming various Hearthstone things with very minimal numbers of viewers who say like they're high legend or top legend, like, in fact, like Kibler hits legend every season, but like he has a bunch of viewers, and the viewer count on Twitch very much doesn't have to do with your rank in anything. It's like when good Magic players stream Magic and don't get many viewers, because that happens too. There's a lot to do with how popularity on Twitch works, and a lot of it has to do with it's a rich get richer system. All right, well they're at 1. It's not that I can't multitask while I'm streaming, Ishia. It's that it makes the content worse if I'm doing multiple things while streaming. Like, I definitely can, like, read chat and, like, kind of talk about what's going on and, like, do other things while I'm doing it, but it'll just be worse content. Like, there's so much fucking downtime while my opponents sit here and wait. Like, we're up almost 6 minutes in this game. I could be playing Hearthstone on my 3rd monitor easily while this happens. The deck is sweet, Steam Flogger. Here's hoping they ban Deathrite Shaman and we can brew it a little bit more. Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people, so people talk about like how Magic's boring and you can't make the content engaging. I think those people are just lazy. Like, there's a lot of things you can be talking about a lot of the time, even when there aren't decisions being made. You can be talking about cards you're looking to draw, outs you're playing to, cards your opponent could have in hand, out things you need to play around, things you can't play around. Like, there's a lot that goes into every game of Magic and the decisions that you make while doing so. How'd Legacy go last night? The terrible decks did terribly, and the if you haven't watched the Mono Blue Omniscience deck, the Mono Blue Omniscience Infect deck, it's really awesome. I've not played Ben Friedman Shadow List. Yep. Actually, I'm going to play this land out here because I want to fetch a Sacred Foundry tapped because both my mountains are out of my deck. So if they like spreading sees me off my red mana, I'd like to have a red source that I don't have to pay 3 health for. I was going to say, you're not wrong, Stampit. You're not wrong. Although, I guess to be fair, I actually don't know how much they pay people for commentary. I'm dead, right? Probably dead. Oh, yeah, super dead. It's really... I mean, I assume they pay their commentators, and they might pay their commentators very well. I genuinely don't know if they pay them very well. I know what I get paid when I'm making streaming, so like I just don't have a comparison base for if what I make streaming is just more than what they make commentating. Oh, did I miscount? Yeah, I could have jumped the Gideon, right? Yeah, I miscounted. I could have jumped the Gideon. I'm gonna bottom this. We really just need a sister. Yeah, jumping matters because we had a Purphoros in play, so any creature off the top was lethal. Oh. I was someone for a long time who got very frustrated with a lot of wins and losses in Magic. I'm like, tying yourself emotionally to your results in not only a children's card game, but a children's card game that has an exceeding amount of variance is just like, it's not good life EV. Like, life's too short for your hobbies to cause you stress and frustration. I think there's plenty. I think greedy mana bases in Modern in general are self-checking. Humans' mana base comes at the cost of the types of cards that they're able to play in their deck. They have to limit, like, the number of non-creatures they can play and the types of creatures they can play, so, like, it's not free. Other greedy mana bases that are fetch shockland mana bases are self-punishing because they deal lots of damage to the player that's playing them, and Modern's a very aggressive format, so your mana base dealing damage to you is a real cost. I literally only play Magic and League of Legends. They are the largest sources of stress in my life. Something, something, call blood sacrifice. Oh, what a beetle. You kids these days. You kids these days. At least I have Kool-Aid pictures to post when the cult posts stuff now. I feel like I'm supposed to shoot that. I'm gonna shoot that. You donate 1,000, I will play your deck right now. For $1,000, I will play your deck right now. Fuck, I'll drop this league and play this deck again later for $1,000. Yeah, it's tough. And like when you tie yourself emotionally to the results of the game and like you're doing it and what you consider to be like a job, and you feel, especially when you go on like a losing streak or like a medium finishes. Like I remember times where like I'd even just like I'd top 32 or top 64 like 3 or 4 opens in a row, but I wouldn't hit that run hot enough to hit a top 8, and I'd feel bad about it, right? Because like top 64ing and top 32ing events, even opens that pay more money than Grand Prix, like that's nowhere near enough to pay the bills. It's not even enough to break even, especially if you're flying to tournaments. Like it doesn't feel good. It feels actively bad. I'm like, and I can't even imagine, like, at least I was smart enough to, like, by and large at opens, I mostly played decks that I enjoyed playing. Like, I don't think I can ever remember, like, going to a tournament being like, I have to play this deck. I can't play the deck that I like because this tournament is that important. So, like I've heard other people talk about, they're like, oh, I hate this format, I hate all these decks, I'm showing up anyways. It's like, dude, you should go back to school and get a fucking job. Like if you hate everything about the Magic that you're playing right now, this is not for you. Blood Moons are in my sideboard, so let's just fetch my Shocklands aggressively here. These Ghostly Prisons are probably okay. Look, 13-year-olds are children. 19-year-olds are children. I know other people that are almost 30 like me that I would certainly classify as still children. Being a child isn't an age, it's a state of mind. Did you... That... Alright. We tried to bolt the Norin. Good news. Double Ghostly Prison. Going to be very, very good in this match. If you're burning Revolt Zoo, would you pick up Arid Mesas? Since I already have Overgrown Tombs and access to Jund for another deck. It's probably pretty marginal in that deck. You're fetching Shocklands most of the time anyways, Zach, so I think if you think you'll get more mileage out of Bloodstained Mires, it's probably pretty marginal versus Arid Mesa. I think if you wanted to play Ensnaring Bridge in this deck, you'd need to build the deck differently. So like if you wanted to play Ensnaring Bridge in this archetype, I think you'd want to look at like the mono red Tremors list that I played that wasn't playing like Ajani Pridemate and wasn't playing it wasn't playing Pridemate and it wasn't playing Champion of the Parish. It was trying to just kill people with impact tremors. So like this deck is trying to kind of split its focus and be this deck is trying to split its focus and be like an aggressive deck that gains health. What's your people usually define greedy mana bases as anything that's 3 or more colors, like very few basic lands. I'd say the classification for a greedy mana base in my mind is probably anything that can't fit in at least like 3 basic lands. I mean, this is a Soul Sisters shell. Like, Sisters decks frequently play Pride Mage, historically speaking. Good news. This Smasher has to pay 4 mana and it basically only attacks for 3 because of Norin and these sisters. Hey, sister, sister. Do 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 do. Now we just need like a Purphoros or something to close the game with. Champion of the Parish, Ajani Pridemate, something too. Something to put a big thing into play with. I mean, we don't even care about Thought Knot, right? And they're basically only attacking us for 1 every turn cycle, right? Because we gain 2 on our turn with Norin as well. I don't think the Purphoros is what makes there not be room for bridge. I think it's the aggressive creatures that make bridge worse. What did I do that what people are disliking? We discussing my lack of shaving? Is that the issue? Comparing Magic to Unlocks. That's not true at all. The children's game thing. Like, saying that calling it a children's card game implies a lack of depth, implies that a game that is simple to explain can't have depth. So like, you can teach chess to very young children and explain to them how the mechanics of the game work, and you could call it a children's game, right? Like, if a child can play it, that's fine. Pokemon's actually a great example. Pokemon TCG has a fuck ton of depth to it, but it's very, very easy to explain what it is. So I think calling something a children's game means it can't have depth. I think that isn't true. Yeah, but if people don't understand that, then like that's not someone that I really want to deal with in my community, and I probably don't care if they're scared away anyways. Like, if someone's not bright enough to understand that, like, do I really need to interface with them? If I can't have a discussion with them about it and, like, explain, hey, this can be a game that kids play that also has a lot of depth to it, like, that's probably not someone... Yeah, it's not meant to be insulting. It's just describing what the game is. It's not even just about Purphoros. Like, any of our payoffs would be good here. Like, if we had a champion of the parish or an Ajani Pridemate here, that would be very good too. That is definitely a big part of why I say children's card game a lot. I think a lot of people wrap themselves up in this game so much that they forget it's supposed to be fun. Like, children play games for fun. That's a big part of why I call it that too. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that get like, let's be honest, if you're watching Magic the Gathering on Twitch, you're almost certainly more invested in Magic the Gathering than probably 95, maybe even 99% of the people that play this game. A lot of the people that play this game play it predominantly at the kitchen table. So like, I think a lot of people that are very invested in Magic, some of the time there's this tendency for them to lose the fact that you're supposed to be playing this game for fun. But I say my job is stressful? No, not at all. The only thing that I find moderately stressful about what I do is the idea that the income that I made this month and the income that I made last month might not be there next month. So that the uncertainty, I would say, is kind of stressful. But at the same time, like, you know, I'm in the very fortunate position that a lot of content creators can't be in that my wife works full-time, and if I stopped making money today, the only thing that would change is that Declan would have to stop going to daycare, which he really likes. So I like want to be able to send Declan to daycare. He really enjoys it. But like that's the only effective thing that would change if I stopped having income from this. And part of it is that this is still very new to me. Like, I never expected this to ever make close to enough money to be considered a job. So, like, the fact that it does at all is strange. And it just feels like I shouldn't. I feel like the way I grew up and the society that we live in, it feels to me like I almost feel like this shouldn't be allowed to be a job. So, like, the fact that it is now, like, hasn't really sunk in. Like, maybe if I'm still doing this a year from now, that uncertainty will feel less there. But for now, it's still like, this is new and weird, and it feels weird to actually like make money doing this as opposed to it just like being a hobby. They have another Smasher here maybe, or a Thought-Knot Seer perhaps. How long have I been streaming full time? Like March to June, so like 3 months. I started ramping up at the end of last year, but I didn't have the kids in daycare doing this 30 to 40 hours a week until then. Being a grinder on the SCG tour didn't make money. Here's some context for you. I was one of the more successful people on the SCG tour, and the SCG tour pays more money on average than grinding Grand Prix, and I mostly just broke even 3 years in a row. I need my sword back before Nivik gets here and tries to take advantage of me. The 3 years that I played SCG tour events, I didn't lose money doing it. I considered that a success. This card doesn't hit creatures, is the reason. When did the donation queue become the stream format? It slowly took over towards the end of last year. Basically, making the content user focus is definitely one of the things that helped the stream take off, and that's not close. That was a good move on my part. I didn't have to fly to everywhere. For a majority of the time when I spent playing a bunch of SCG events, they had a lot of Midwest events. Here's the number of cities I drove to that had opens. Cities I drove to that had opens involved Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville, Louisville, Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland. We drove New Jersey a couple of times. That one was far, but like there were like almost a dozen cities that we drove to consistently to play in tournaments. Yeah, the queue is like a win-win situation. I get to play sweet decks with no risk of investing my own Moto dollars into them, and at the same time, we get a lot of variety on stream, and people get to see their sweet ideas put up on stream for people. So I definitely didn't invent the idea of doing donation decks. There were other streamers that had that idea before me, but I'd like to think that I perfected it. I'd like to say that I perfected it. I've actually never flown to Dallas. We've driven to Dallas the 2 times we've gone. Once or twice that I've gone. One of Christy's girlfriends from high school lives in Dallas, so we usually take the family and visit when we go. In fact, one year we took a big family trip. Christy, Matt, and I, with the 2 kids, drove from Bloomington to Orlando, and then I played the open and we went to Disney World with the kids, and then Matt flew back to Bloomington, and then Christy and I drove from Orlando to Dallas with the kids, and we hung out with her friend, and then Matt flew from Bloomington to Dallas and then drove back from Dallas to Bloomington with us. That's actually a fun couple of weeks. We made a big triangle. You should wait to sell treasure chests. They're going to update the value on them soon. In fact, I bought more tickets the other day because I wanted to avoid selling my treasure chest because they're going to be worth like 30 to 50 cents more per treasure chest soon. How did I meet Matt? He was just someone at the local game store one day when I still played there. I was a guy who needed an Ashiok, and Matt was a guy who had an Ashiok. They're dead, right? So, in my experience, the greatest love story ever written. In my experience, the trick, if you're making good content, there's a lot of people on Twitch that make a lot of really awesome content. The trouble isn't retaining viewers a lot of the time. The biggest problem with getting into making stuff on Twitch is getting viewers in the door. It can be very, very difficult to gain an initial audience on Twitch. And part of that is because it's how Twitch works with basically the way Twitch is set up. It's a rich get richer system where the people at the top collect more viewers and the people at the bottom never get any trickle down, which is why I always do my best to try and host smaller streamers when I sign off. Yeah, I think we've struck a good balance, Dougie, between like having decks that are sweet and like having decks that are like still mostly playable. And like some decks like this are things where like I wasn't sure where it's going to fall, and like we're able to form opinions on it as we play games and like get some actual data in front of us. Gengar with the brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much and welcome. I do appreciate that. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month. Yeah, definitely. My ability to break into an initial Twitch audience was a mixture of a couple of things. Part of it was having some audience on Twitter from doing SCG stuff, and another part of it was just like streaming at opportune times when other large name streamers weren't streaming, so people were looking for stuff. So in my experience, from what I've in both my experience and what I've read from other people posting things about Twitch, the only way to consistently, the only way to break out being a new Twitch streamer in an established game is through multiple large hosts from people that are already established in the game. So you need to, a lot of people don't scroll past the first couple rows on Twitch, so they never get a chance to look at people that are lower in it. Yeah, and networking's a big part too. Like someone mentioned my YouTube videos. There's another person mentioned Tolarian Community College, and like, and parts of that too is like the networking and like Tolarian Community College reaching out to me to do videos with him was because he appreciated my outlook on things from the SCG tour. Johnny Redeemed. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't on the back of my mind. Like the idea that Wizards of the Coast could do something absurdly stupid to Magic Online because they're trying to push Magic Arena is something that I feel like could be a real possibility. And like I hope that worry is largely unfounded, but that's definitely something in the back of my mind as well. Yep. Yeah, I feel like a lot of content producers, like and I understand like a lot of the people that don't post to YouTube is because like they're taking music while they stream that they're not supposed to have, so like they can't post to YouTube and monetize. I've done a couple of videos with TCC, mostly deck techs. I think I've done 2 or 3 with him. We did a Kiki Cord deck tech. We did a Goblin Charbelcher and Legacy deck tech. I think I did one other with him too. I feel like I've done 3, but I don't recall at this point. Oh, I did a guest appearance on his like debate show that he did a couple videos of. So Demi-Eyes, in my experience, the people that actually work on Magic Online really love the product and really want to do their best to make it as good as it could possibly be. But read the Glassdoor reviews on Wizards of the Coast sometimes, and you'll gain some great insight into how hamstrung the people working there are. So the horse badges are, the subscriber loyalty badges happen as we go. I give people mod swords when they get their shield sub badge at 12 months. So I think I want to just go Auriok Champion into Path to Exile here. Oh yeah, we did Gedgael with TCC. That was the third one. That sounds right. You think this deck is better than Mono Archer? I don't think so after having played it. I feel like the Ajani Pridemate Champion of the Parish game plan is not particularly good right now. It feels slow against the linear decks, and it's too easy to disrupt it for the non-linear decks. Tolarian Community College is very, very good at what he does. And he's very honest and straightforward. He's like a no bullshit person that's nicer than I am. Tolarian also doesn't hold any punches, but he doesn't swear like a sailor like I do, which is probably a good thing. I don't know. I'm just not going to change how I talk. He's a great person to have in the Magic community, representing it. But can I buy one? I've been known to give mod swords out to people that have big circlets and crowns as terms of bits. I curse less than other streamers. I feel like I curse a lot. I need to take the green screen down at some point. Hopefully Christy will be feeling better tonight and she can help me do it. Like, Christy, like, literally hasn't been able to be vertical for the last 2 days. Do big streams, like, I don't know what SGDQ is. Large Magic streams affect my viewership, but other generic large gaming events, by and large, don't affect me. I am a touch tired today, Energetics. Declan came and got me at 5:45. Daddy, wake up. Daddy, wake up. Come on, dude. You're killing me. You're killing me. All right, so we're going to path the crap out of this Thought-Knot Seer. He just wanted me to be awake. Wanted me to be awake. My children are adorable, but they are certainly loud. Oh god, I didn't even realize they have 6 minutes left. God, that's so annoying. Why is this stream an AMA? I mean, most streams are an AMA, right? How do you make him stop yelling? Yep. If I knew the answer to that question, we'd have done it already. What's going on, Holler? I like how Soul Warden is like templated different than Auriok Champion. We have a lot of 1/1s, chat. God bless auto-yielding triggers. We're gonna smash with everything other than the Auriok Champion here. These are 1/1s. Our 1/1s are amazing. Always yes, always yields. I really hope they don't Whirly Boy me. You are not wrong. Whirly Boy would be bad for us. And we get to, like, get 2 more tokens and gain 9 more health at end of turn here. My opponent really needs to learn to use their auto pass hotkeys. When you're tapped out, chat, press F6. Press your auto pass till end of turn. This deck has a lot of triggers in it. You're not wrong. All right. How we doing, folks? Thanks everyone for hanging out this morning. Welcome. If you're new, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I stream Magic 30 plus hours a week. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are a big part of what keep me here full-time, and I really appreciate all of them. You can also support my stuff by supporting some of my wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. I love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. And if you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com buy and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. Inked Gaming, JeffToys.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags there. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone to Hoogland. I hope everyone's having a great Thursday wherever you're in the world. Please talk to your friendly neighborhood moderator about receiving your complimentary timeout. All right, into the third one. So it's really funny. Declan knows that my name is Jeff, but he doesn't know that Christy's name is Christy. So like Christy pointed at me last night and she said, "Declan, who's that?" Or who's that? Or what's daddy's, or she said, "Who's that?" And Declan said, "Jeff." And then Christy pointed at herself and said, "What's my name?" Mommy. It was like really funny. And I'm pretty sure he only knows what my name is because he's been down here through so many of those stream intros. He's heard me say my name is Jeff Hoogland enough times that like he associates that with me. Yeah, definitely, Bardic. Deck was really sweet. So, I mean, Declan doesn't say all the syllables correctly in multiple syllable words, but he attempts to say the words. Like, Declan's 3. He is 3. Sooner or later, he'll be shilling for you at daycare. Hi, friend. Do your parents have Twitch Prime? They should subscribe to my daddy. Oh, God. I'm totally going to make him do a commercial for me someday. That'll be fucking great. Earned them pretzel bites. Gotta work for it. No, M19 doesn't go live on Magic Online until July 9th. July 9th it'll go live. There are a ton of people in the world who have Amazon Prime that have no idea what Twitch is, almost certainly. I don't think we're going to have a hard time blocking Flameblade out of this game, chat. What do you think? Fanixia with the brand new Twitch Prime support speaking up. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No, there's a lot of great people you could support on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month. You probably missed it, Marty. My mom actually poked into the stream last night to give me her Twitch Prime, and then she hung out and chatted for a little while. It was really funny. I think I'm going second chamber here into Soul Warden. Broonic with the 4-month resubscription. Thank you and welcome back. I appreciate it. Yeah, she was modded and gave a timeout as well. We gave her the full stream experience. We gave her a sword and she got to sword somebody. God, that's such a great idea, Wannabe Beetle. That's such a great idea. This is called Genesis Chamber. I would like to gain all the health. Do-da, do-da. Please give me all the health. Oh, the do-da-day. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Beep, 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 beep. There might have been merit to sticking this last turn when it could get in under a lightning bolt. Really hope we draw a Norin here. Norin would just like make us go off basically. I mean, until we draw a Norin, the opponent's kind of in the game. If they don't have a bolt for this here, we're probably going to run away with it pretty quickly though. Can't wait for Jeff to get 50 emotes after going to a PTA meeting. Yeah, there's no tremors in here. I mean, this is the Abyss. We at least get to stick them under the Abyss. Another Flame Wake, yep. If we hit Norin, we won't be able to lose this, but if we brick on Norin for a little bit, we could be in trouble here. I'm going to be playing a couple more tournaments this year. I'm going to the Open in Indianapolis at the end of next month, and I'm planning to go to the Open in Las Vegas in November. No, I don't think so. I think I want to save the Return to the Ranks for later. I mean, the opponent's not going to have an infinite string of creatures, so, like, their mirror will run out. Yep, I am going to Gen Con as well. They've had enough. They've seen all that they need to see. God bless you, opponent. Yeah, there's a lot of different payoffs you can have for killing them. We have Purphoros and Pridemate and Champion of the Parish. I don't think this is an Electrickery matchup. I think I'm just going to board in the Rip and the extra Ghostly Prison from these Boros Charms. I mean, Boros Charm is good against sweepers. No, I don't think so. I think if we have Rip, their deck is mostly turned off. It's only one Rip. $5 donation there. Opening my dashboard, thank you. That would probably be a fine deck for the donation queue, but please be aware that at the moment I'm currently in a freeze / higher price for donation queue, so I can try and work through it. Electrickery only kills blood gas out of them, so I think it doesn't quite kill enough. Yeah, I'll probably have time to play random board games with people at Gen Con. You should get in Discord if you're not, and when we get closer to Gen Con, I'll put up a Gen Con channel for people that want to coordinate. My wife's coming to Gen Con too. Actually, I'm going with her to Gen Con. Gen Con is like her thing. She drags me along. I like board games, but I'm definitely not quite as into them as she is. That's her thing. I feel like this deck and decks like it, Bruce By, already have too many individually weak cards. So like playing more individually weak cards is not ideal. Does that make us coworkers? Kinda. The Discord is sub only. Freezing the donation queue like I'm doing is almost certainly going to result in me taking in less money in the next 3 weeks to a month while I do it. But I think for the sake of the queue and not letting it balloon out of control, it's the correct thing for me to do. I mean, like, I could certainly just like keep taking money from people and like let the queue blow up from now until forever. Like that's certainly an option that I have. I feel like I said in the post that I wrote, I feel like it's a bad user experience for people to like put a deck in the queue and then not see it get played for 7 weeks to 2 months. So I would like to, God, that's really bad for us. Potentially, I guess. Yeah, Indie's great. I spent a lot of time in Indie. I mean, it depends on what your goal while playing Magic is, Frostbite. Like, if your goal is just FNM or whatever, it's, like, certainly fine. But if, like, your goal is to go to large tournaments, like, I probably wouldn't take Budget Dredge to a Grand Prix or an Open. Like, I feel like I'd just be wasting my money. But that's, like, me personally. Yeah, I think I plan on just doing periodic freezes, Deathman. I think every time we start nearing 100 decks in the queue, I will most likely freeze it until we get back down under 50. I think that there's a ton of other people that do donation deck lists on stream, Kurtia. And when people donate money here on this channel, it's because they're interested in me specifically playing the deck, I would imagine. It feels wrong to sublet it out. I think I'm actually going to cast this other Norin. Just like they probably can't take this first one off the table. I'm doing well. Morning, Rowan. Howdy. Bruce By, I said that those cards are kind of individually weak, and this deck already has a lot of individually weak cards in it, so I'm not sure that I'd want to put more in it. Like I said, the two, I definitely could make the queue smaller intentionally. Like, I could always charge more, or I could, like, you know, have another person or something like that. But again, I feel like what I want it to do, that those don't accomplish what I want it to do. Yeah, exactly. I like to think that I'm okay at what I do, and that while I don't think it's impossible for other people to do what I do, I'm not sure that I know I've watched anybody else personally that I think does what I do as well as I do it. That doesn't mean other people couldn't, but I think I have a lot of practice at doing what I do, which is a big boon to me. So here's the thing though, and I said this in my post. I've streamed, as of last night, there's a website that lets me track how much I've streamed very easily. I had streamed 59 hours in the last week with that 22-hour stream, and the queue just kept getting larger. So, like, I do just need to, like, put it on hold to actually work through it. The only way it's ever actually going to get smaller is if I stop taking decks for it for a small while. Because basically working more means more people see my stuff, means more people send in decks. Yeah, I'm always happy to damage people's property at various events. Usually I bring a Sharpie. Usually I bring my own Sharpie. Sometimes I forget though. Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like even if I could stream 24 hours a day, I don't think I would ever get it to 0. It is a wonderfully amazing problem to have. Like I said, the reason why I'm gonna put it on hold for a little bit is because I feel like I'm taking advantage of people if I'm taking their money and then not getting to their deck for, you know, months, basically. So that's what I've done, Dows. If you read, I wrote a blog post here. I wrote this as a temporary freeze, but basically it's a price increase. So until I get the queue back down to a manageable rate, I am going to be charging more to add new decks to the queue. I think that makes the most sense to do. And I explained in here why I don't want to permanently charge more for decks. No, I think the number of basics in our deck is great. Would you sign an entire deck? An entire deck's probably a little bit much. I don't mind doing like a dozen cards or so. You know? This game's a good example of why Wasteland's a good card to not have in Modern. Just over here, waiting on a sword and a horse. Thanks for the bits, Lito. I don't actually think this deck has that bad of a Ponza matchup, so I don't plan to concede the match. We're probably going to lose this game, but this match probably isn't terrible in general. Sure, but like this type of game I very easily could have had a non-basic as one of my 2 lands, and then it would have been mostly the same. Thanks for the bits, Lito. Let me know if there's anything in the queue you'd like to bump with those to see a little bit sooner. I signed all my fair... I've signed a lot of Blood Moons, to be fair. Hoaglandia's burned, so now we're freezing it, right? If we had a white source this turn, we might be in the game. How many anticipates will you sign for me? I only sign anticipates that I'm selling for $10 or more each. I really don't have cards to bring in here, huh? Like maybe Electrickery is fine. I don't know. I'm just gonna click submit. It's because Ponza's not a very good deck. Chandra can kill Norin. Poor Norin. Not quite weary enough. Usually he dies to Engineered Explosives. Engineered Explosives and Is It Sedicast are the 2 cards that interact with Norin most often that see Modern play. Well, this is another 2-lander, but I think we're supposed to keep it. Yeah, Engineer Explosives is very good against this deck. You can clean out your tokens or a lot of 1-drops. I don't think we actually care about Blood Moon a lot of the time. The only reason Blood Moon was good that game was because they also had the Stone Rain to go with it. Sign my entire Lantern deck. It's an interesting question. We can use Boros Charm to counter Stone Rains. That is definitely true. Yeah, I think holding up Boros Charm is really bad. I think you just like need to hope to run good, basically. I think I'm gonna return to the ranks here. I'm gonna put this back into play, I think. Just like, Ponza has a hard time dealing with really large creatures. So this is gonna put, what, a 6/6 into play here? Actually, I'm asking for Fred. Yeah, probably. That's a fun story. So 6/6 should run away with this game pretty quickly. Unless I guess they could have like double Bolt here, or like Bolt Chandra maybe. Alright, we're gonna have them under the Abyss very, very quickly here. Well, it's unfortunate I don't have lands. I'm gonna double block this Bloodbraid Elf here. They want to spend a bolt on one of these, that's fine. Nope, just traded deal. Swag Dadderson. Ding. Ding. This is the first time we've had multiple Pridemates going. Feels great. Alcohol with the 6-month tier 3 resubscription. Thank you very much for the continued support, and I appreciate that. Welcome back. Drop me a line and let me know what you'd like your comp donation deck for the month to be, or what deck that's already in the queue that you'd like to bump up. Am I okay trading this for these two? I feel like I'm not. Like now I have an 8/8. I'm still giving tier, so the exceptions to the queue is that I'm still giving tier 3 subs new donation decks if they'd like. And I'm still giving people that donate 50 or more donation decks, so it's not going to 100% stop shrinking, but hopefully that will make it so it grows slower than I play them for a little while. I think with those rules in place, I should probably be able to get it back down to where I'd like it within 3 weeks to a month. Yeah, details here, JMP. That's true too. If the donation queue doesn't start to shrink while I've implemented this freeze policy, I really won't have anything to complain about. So I can't play a spell because of Trinisphere. They are in fact playing a Trinisphere Bloodbraid combo deck. I think I want to do this here still. This might be a little bit dangerous, but it gets my Pridemates going. Maybe I'm just supposed to go Pridemate. If a Bolt here, we're going to die. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're dead at this point. It's going to be too hard to come back. I guess I'm only taking 7 here down to 8, and I get to Bolt this next turn, but it feels like if they have, like, any more pressure here... That's literally what I've done, is adjusted the price. And if once the queue becomes more manageable again, I will just open the price back up so more people can add more things. Again, like you should read the things. I'm just gonna time you out, actually. I'm just gonna do that. I love when people tell me there's a better way to do something that I'm doing, and like I've addressed specifically the thing that they're suggesting in the words that I wrote. So read that if you haven't, if you want to give me feedback. I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. And then we're going to play the last match in this league. And then we got a few more leagues before we're done for the day. Got many more hours. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Let's be honest, Anoronics, this has always been a poop stream, at least for the last few months. Usually the poop's in card form, though. Will do, Python. Are we in emote only mode? Is that why people are spamming emotes? Or are people just sending... Because Hoaglandia. Another control deck's a little scary. Oh, this hand's a pretty good opener. We get to go champion into champion Norin. I'm doing well, Jade Kick. Good morning. Since they passed with mana up, I'm actually not going to play the Norin unless they kill this in response here. How long do you have to pay for timeouts? Timeouts will always be free. There aren't a lot of promises I can make, but timeouts will always be free in Hoaglandia. Don't spell snare me. Yay! Magic Online happened to that poor Helix. Magic Online happened to that poor Helix. We just want people to feel welcome here, and really what's more welcoming than telling someone they can't talk for 10 minutes? I think I just passed here. Ghostly Prison doesn't really accomplish much. I'm very disappointed. We got you, Demon Feet. We got you. Thanks for the 213 subscription and welcome back. This could be a game where they don't pick us apart and we get to do our thing here, which is kind of awesome. Stick, you know, when the opponent's bumbling around, we get to do our thing. It's pretty good. Why is that? What's good in C19? What tools are they getting? Explain yourself. They could have like Snapcaster mages too, because they're not doing anything. I'm gonna board out these ghostly prisons, board in these blood moons, call it a day. We stream Legacy with some consistency. We've played Pauper in the past, but it's just not popular enough to keep streaming. Modern's the most popular format in competitive Magic, so that's predominantly what we stream. As the highest demand, most viewers, most decks too. It's the most popular for a reason. Just has the most deck variety of any competitive format. Isn't Standard more popular than Modern? Not based on tournament results, not based on the number of players that are attending tournaments, or based on the number of views that things get on my channel in my experience. It's definitely more popular here. I'd estimate that Modern's more popular in general too. Like, there's a reason why the largest Magic independent tournament organizer has 0 Standard opens and a ton of Modern opens. Like, that's not by mistake. They're not stupid. They like money. They're running events to turn a profit. There are lots of dollary dues. Like, Wizards of the Coast runs Grand Prix to promote Magic as a game and sell booster packs. SCG runs tournaments so people show up and play. Poor little champion of the Parish, he never stood a chance. Oh, that's just an opt. Alright, so here's an interesting question. Do I want to prioritize sticking Norin or Chamber? I think I want to prioritize sticking Chamber, although this is far more killable post board for sure. Wizards of the Coast is currently amidst trying to recover their credibility producing Standard as a format. Standard has had very middling gameplay for a very long while. Now the opponent's playing Jeskai control with an awkward mana draw. So we're intentionally not going to fetch a Sacred Foundry here because we don't want to give them something to Field of Ruin. Thinking Logic, not this. It's possible I should have jammed this last turn. This plays around Mana Leak, though, which some of these decks occasionally play. I'm actually going to bolt my opponent here, because it's going to send Norin into hiding. I am definitely going to play some Artifact when it releases. I will probably stream a little bit of it. If there's any demand for it, I'll probably stream a little bit of it consistently. I don't think I could ever see myself replacing Magic as the primary game that I stream, but I definitely tend to try Artifact because it looks sweet. And the fact that Valve is releasing it should mean that it's going to run on SteamOS, so it should have a native Linux client, which is great. I like games with native Linux clients. So many companies are assholes and they like write their games in Unity and they could easily have a Linux client. They just don't give us a Linux client anyways. The Super Friends deck was fun, Bruno. Rude opponent. Artifact's going to be a trading card game. It's going to be a trading card game utilizing the Steam Marketplace. really like to draw a Blood Moon, so our opponent can stop playing Magic. No, this is game 2, Burgle. We won game 1. And this game's a really good example of why I think this deck's probably not particularly good. Like, look at this Ajani Pridemate. Look at this Norin. Just like, our individually weak synergy cards are just like pretty embarrassing here because we don't have all of them together. Yeah, I'd imagine it's going to support everything, Nathan. Yeah, I think I prefer the Impact Tremors Norin deck that we'd played on stream previously. The good news, we have these 2 bolts in our hand, so like we only have to get like a couple of chip shots in here and then we can burn them out. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do 5 decks today. I think I'm catching a little bit of whatever Christy has. I'm feeling a little bit medium minus at the moment. Alright, these bolts have 1 mode. Let's make that mode apparent. The Infect deck that we played in Legacy last night was A+. I really liked it. If you're in the market for a sweet Legacy combo deck, you should check that one out. Wow, they didn't activate Azcanta. That's really bad for us. That means they probably have a Cryptic Command in hand. They just don't want to die to a bolt. So, the thing I've discovered since we put the kids in daycare is that basically daycare means you're just perpetually sick. I feel like we haven't had a moment where someone in my house wasn't sick for like the last 3 months. Oh, it's always like, oh, somebody gets better and then somebody vomits. It's not even that the daycare is not sanitary. It's just that like kids are like little germ factories, and when you put all the germ factories together, you gotta like build up immunities to the germs that you're used to. So when you introduce a new set of germs into your environment, you have to work through them and build immunities up to them. Basically, there's no way we're winning this game. They have 7 cards in hand. I think I'm gonna try and get through 1 more deck today, but I think I might only do 2. Maybe I'll pop back on again tonight if I feel better. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna plow through 1 more. So I don't want to just do 1 league, but definitely not anywhere near 100% right now. NyQuil stream. It's not cold sickness. I'll leave it at that. I won't give you gory details, but it's not a cold sickness. Suicidal. That's basically your job as a parent. Blazing Shoal Intel is the deck name. Maybe Geoff can sub in. Alright, where are all the smork decks tagging the goblin? I couldn't believe it. Wow. Can you stop coughing? No, asshole. That's why I'm not at work right now. I can't stop coughing. If I could stop coughing, I'd be at work. Oh. Alright, until we get picked apart by spot removal, this hand is very good. Maybe I should have gone Champion Soul Warden there, because then next turn this could grow outside of range of Bolt, which would be nice. Like now they're going to be able to Bolt or Helix this, and then Bolt or Helix this, then I'm left without a payoff. Yeah. I think I might have sequenced incorrectly there. Yeah, Artifact's gonna be huge, Nivek. Whether or not it'll last is probably the question, but it's gonna be huge to start. Valve's got all sorts of dollary dues to pull out all the stops. And like, against a deck in Modern that doesn't care about my health gain, I've now played 3 1-mana 1/1, so like... I think I'm actually going to return to the ranks my one Pridemate here. Just because I just like need to have a threatened play and they don't have counterspells up this turn. We'll just concede to a Wrath next turn. Well, for starters... Here's the list of digital trading card games. Hex, Shards of Fate, Magic the Gathering Online. Did you miss any there? I'll say it again. Here's the list of digital trading card games that exist. Hex, Shards of Fate, Magic the Gathering Online. So, you know, there's that. Pokemon kind of counts. Pokemon it's against the TOS for a secondary market to exist, so it's kind of a really controlled market. Correct. Everything is a collectible card game, but as far as actual trading card games go, there are not many on the computer. Yep. Yeah, Hex is the only fully digital trading card game to date. Well, we got him to 7. We have him at a virtual 4 that they're not aware of. So, like, another burn spell would be really good. No, Eternal is a collectible card game. There's no trading involved. Basically everybody mimicked Hearthstone's system. And then there's Arena, who took Hearthstone system and made it more greedy. You know, just like typical WotC things. Oh, good. A grizzly cat. I didn't path the Snapcaster Mage because I need this path to deal with the Celestial Colonnade. The actual answer is that I don't know. It depends on... The answer is probably that it depends on how willing... it depends on how willing Wizards is to back support things like Modern and Arena. I'm gonna path my Ajani to deny them gaining 3 health here. So that way if we draw a Boros Charm, we can kill them next turn. So, countering this means pathing my guy means their Helix gets countered, which means they don't gain health. We drew another land, so I assume we're dead here. I'm gonna wait till that first Azcanta activation, probably take one more draw step. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to whatever non-rotating format Arena introduces. That might be what gets me into Arena eventually. Although, there's a good chance that they support whatever that format is on Magic Online, so... Yeah, we're pretty done here. I really didn't sleep last night, which is part of why I feel so bad right now, on top of being a little bit ill. Another month of didn't you know you could be putting Gristlebrand into play? Thanks for the 4 months, Revan. So this deck, we talked about this a lot during the league, but just to have a concise wrap up at the end, like always, I think this deck, the synergy components in it individually are too weak. I think the Jeskai and the blue-white control matchups really showed that weakness. I think the linear component of this deck just isn't quite powerful enough, so I'm not really a fan of this deck. I think if you want to build a Norin the Wary deck, you should look into the mono red Impact Tremors deck that we played. And I think if you're interested in playing the Soul Warden Souls Attendant package, you could probably splash that into the Impact Tremors deck that we played, and I think that shell overall is a little bit better than this. So, what am I doing? Second in the queue. I'm going to do Abzan Rights as the second deck for today, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I just don't want to push myself too much. Let's grab cards for this and we'll be on our way. So this says, this is going to be my last league of the morning. I can go pass out for a little while before the kids get home. Do I want to change anything in here? Eh, it seems fine. Let's just run it. There's a lot of moo cows in this deck, chat. There are a lot of moo cows. Belcher deck ran pretty bad. It is pretty bad, so like it's expected. Play a bad deck, have bad results. Maybe we have Siege Rhinos, like brutality is less needed. Man, people hate casting their spells. Let me tell you, people love shoving colorless lands into their tricolor decks in Modern, and they like cutting lands. I'm a big fan of